Good morning, all of you. I am Dr. E. Srinivasa, working as an assistant professor of physics in IDSG Government College, Chikmagalur. In this video, I am going to explain some concept of particle accelerator, especially the principle, construction and working of a cyclotron, which is a prescribed syllabus for 3rd BSc physics students studying in 6th sem paper 8. The name of the paper is Nuclear and Particle Physics, question paper code SSF 611, and this is the video for session number 14. So this is the actual diagram of the cyclotron, that is interior view of a Triumph in British Columbia, Canada, one of the 1300 cyclotron facilities around the world, featured in a new IAEA database available online. So in this video we are going to study the principle, construction and working or theory of cyclotron, and also uses of cyclotron, limitations of cyclotron, etc. First of all, what is a cyclotron? Cyclotron is a particle accelerator, and it is a device used to accelerate charged particles or ions to very high energies required for the nuclear reactions and other experimental physics. The cyclotron is a device, particle accelerator, and it is used to accelerate charged particle or ions to very high kinetic energies. Cyclotron can be defined as a type of particle accelerator in which charged particles accelerate outward from the center along the spiral path. These particles are held to a spiral trajectory by a static magnetic field and accelerated by a rapidly varying electric field. The particles are, the charged particles are held to a spiral trajectory by a static magnetic field and also accelerated by rapidly varying electric field. And this cyclotron was invented by E.O. Lawrence and M.S. Livingston in 1934 to investigate nuclear structure. E.O. Lawrence awarded a Nobel Prize for the development of cyclotron also. The principle of a cyclotron. The cyclotron uses both electric and magnetic fields in combination to increase the energy of the charged particles. As the fields are perpendicular to each other, they are called crossed fields. That means in the cyclotron, electric and magnetic fields are applied perpendicular to each other, therefore they are called crossed fields. Magnetic field can restrict a charged particle to move in a circular path due to Lorentz force perpendicular to their direction of motion with a frequency which is independent of its speed, whereas electric field can accelerate it. So magnetic field is used to move a charged particle in a circular path. So this electric field is used to accelerate the charged particles. Cyclotron consists of two hollow semicircular disc-like metal containers D1 and D2, which are called Ds as they look like the letter D as shown in the figure. So this is 1D, hollow metal cylinder, semicircular disc, hollow semicircular disc in the shape of a letter D. This is one D and this is another D placed opposite to D1. This is called D1 and this one has D2 like that. These are called Ds. These Ds are separated slightly along a diameter and are enclosed in an evacuated chamber. So these two Ds are separated. Again, this diagram is also cyclotron diagram. This is D1 and D2. These two are Ds. There is a small energy gap, and also these two Ds are placed between the two magnetic poles. Ds are located between the poles of a strong electromagnet which applies a static magnetic field perpendicular to the electrode plane. So these two are the poles of the strong electromagnet, so in which the magnetic field is perpendicular to the direction of the motion of the charged particle. So here there is a source of protons, that is positive ions, and between the Ds a high frequency accelerating voltage is applied, and this is the direction of the magnetic field. Here we are applying high frequency oscillating voltage. So these protons, positively charged ions, get accelerated every half cycle, and finally they move with very high velocity, that means very high kinetic energy, through this opening. These are high speed proton beam. So again here this is an oscillator, apply here. These two are the electromagnets. So this is the particle source and the spiral beam path. So the ions move in this Ds in a circular path, and finally they meet to incident on the target. This is the exit beam of the protons. Working of cyclotron. The magnetic field, however, acts on the particle and makes it to go round in a circular path inside a tube due to Lorentz force acting on it. That is, this force provides the necessary centripetal force for the electron to move in a circular path. A very high frequency and high voltage oscillator is connected to these Ds. Very high frequency oscillator is connected to these Ds, and also we are applying very high voltage. It would help in changing the polarity. A source of positive ions, here the source of positive ions is placed between the Ds. Every time the particle moves from one D to another, it is accelerated upon by an alternating voltage of several thousand volts. Every time the proton or positive ion is accelerated by applying a high frequency strong electric field or potential is applied here. Alternating voltage of several thousand volts are applied between the two Ds. The voltage creates an oscillating electric field in the gap between the Ds, and that accelerates the particles. Here at the gap we are applying, so at the gap the positive, whenever a charged particle comes at the gap, it gets accelerated by the strong high alternating electric voltage. So again this is another diagram, section of the cyclotron. These two are electromagnets, north pole and south pole. Between the north and south there is a magnetic field. This is the direction of the magnetic field. These two are the Ds. This is D1 and this is another D2. So these are the path of the ion or electron, or path of ion orbit, positively charged electron orbit. The sign of the electric field is changed alternately in the tune with the circular motion of the particle. This is very, very important. The sign of the electric field is changed alternately in tune with the circular motion of the particle. This ensures that the particle is always accelerated by electric field. Each time the acceleration increases the energy of the particle. Each time the acceleration increases the energy of the particle. As energy increases, the radius of the circular path increases. So the path is a spiral one. The whole assembly is in evacuated chamber, and it is evacuated to minimize collisions between the ions and the air molecules. A high frequency alternating voltage is applied to the Ds. In the sketch as shown in the figure, positive ions or positively charged particle, namely protons, are released at the center P. They move in a semicircular path in one of the Ds and arrive in the gap between the Ds in a time interval T by 2, where T is the period of revolution. So this diagram, how the polarity changes when the positively charged proton moves. In the diagram 1, so when the proton moves, injected into the Ds, whenever it is in this position, this D, it may be a D1, so D1, so the polarity of the D1 is negative and the polarity of the D2 is positive. So this negative I potential attracts this proton, positively charged protons, so that this proton gets accelerated. In the second diagram, so it is accelerated, and whenever a charged particle, protons, so move in the Ds, it is acted upon by the magnetic field. So whenever this positively charged comes here, as shown in the diagram 3, the terminals of the Ds gets changed. So the negative becomes positive and positive becomes negative. So here when the protons comes here, the polarity of the D2, positive becomes negative. Again this negative potential attract these protons and gets accelerated. The protons gets accelerated by this negative potential. So that at every off cycle, the protons gets accelerated by the negative potential, and the polarity of the I voltage alternating voltage is applied, so that at every off cycle, whenever a charged particle come here, the frequency is so adjusted that it should be get accelerated. So theory, the frequency of the voltage is set so that particles make one revolution during a single cycle of the voltage. The frequency of the voltage is set so that the particles make one revolution during a single cycle of the voltage. To achieve this condition, the frequency must be set to particles' cyclotron frequency. Consider a particle of charge E and mass m emitted by a source. It is accelerated towards the D and enter with a velocity v. Let r be the radius of the circular path in which the particle is moving. The centripetal force is provided by the magnetic field be applied, and it is given by centripetal force F is equal to mv square by r, and this centripetal force is provided by the magnetic force, that is F is equal to BeV sin theta. Here theta is 90 degree, sin 90 is 1. So therefore the magnetic force is given by BeV. So this magnetic force provides the necessary centripetal force. Therefore we can equate the centripetal force is equal to the magnetic force, and equate for velocity. So V, one square and one V get cancelled. So V is equal to BER by m. Call this as equation 1. The time taken by the particle to complete one semicircle is, time taken is equal to distance travelled over velocity. Here distance travelled is, it is a semicircle. If it is a circle, the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. For semicircle, it is 2 pi r by 2, that is pi r. The distance travelled is pi r and the velocity is v. Call this as equation 2. From equations 1 and 2, we get, substitute for v here. from equation 1. So we get T is equal to pi m by Be. From equations 1 and 2, we get the expression for T is equal to pi m by Be. Call this as equation 3. For working of cyclotron, it is evident that the particle do describe the semicircle should be equal to of the time period, as I explained in the last slide. That is, time taken is equal to of the time period means T by 2. Again, from equation 3 and 4, substitute for T is equal to T by 2, we get pi m by B is equal to T by 2. But time period is equal to reciprocal of the frequency. Therefore, if we substitute, so it is for T is equal to 1 by F. So this is 1 by 2F. 1 by 2F. So 1 by 2F equate for frequency. We get F is equal to BE by 2 pi m. So F is equal to BE by 2 pi m. Call this as equation 5. And this is very important equation. This is the necessary condition for the working of a cyclotron, and it is referred to as resonance condition. This frequency is called the cyclotron frequency. So F is equal to B by 2 pi m is called cyclotron frequency, and that condition is called resonance condition, necessary condition for working of a cyclotron. That is T by 2 of the time period is equal to, so the time taken to cover a semicircular path is equal to the time period of the high frequency oscillator. The frequency of the applied voltage is adjusted so that the polarity of the DC is reversed in the same time that it takes the ions to complete one half of the revolution. That is the resonance condition. The frequency of the applied voltage is adjusted so that the polarity of the DC is reversed in the same time that it takes the ions to complete one half of the revolution. The phase of the supply is adjusted so that when the positive ions arrive at the edge of D1, D2 is at lower potential and the ions are accelerated across the gap. Inside the disk, the particles travel in a region free of electric field. The increase in their kinetic energy is EV each time they cross from one D to another. So V refers to the voltage across the Ds at the time. Here V is the voltage or potential. From equation 1, it is clear that the radius of their path goes on increasing each time their kinetic energy increase. So as kinetic energy increases, the radius of the circular path also goes on increases according to the equation number 1, that is V. 1 minute. V is equal to BR by M. As V increases, radius of the circular path should also increases. V is equal to BR by M. So V is proportional to R, that is radius. Once again, sorry for the interference. The ions are repeatedly accelerated across the disk until they have the required energy to have radius approximately that of the disk. They are then deflected by magnetic field and leave the system via an exit slit. The particle will leave disk with maximum velocity when it takes the periphery of the D. Hence, radius of the orbit small r is equal to capital R, the radius of the D. So, the energy of the particle is kinetic energy is equal to half m square, that is half m into V is equal to BR by M. So, if you take this m inside this bracket, we get BR whole square by 2m. So, equation 1 is V is equal to BR by M. We are substituting for V from this equation. So, our kinetic energy is equal to BR whole square by 2m, that is equal to B square E square R square by 2m. So this is one of the expression for kinetic energy of the charged particle from the cyclotron. And from equation 5 we know that frequency of the cyclotron F is equal to B by 2 pi m. And from this equation equate for BE. So BE is equal to 2 pi mf. So from this equation 5 and this 6, substitute for B. Here B square E square is there. Therefore for B square E square it is 4 pi square m square f square. 4 pi square m square f square into r square by 2m. So m get cancelled and 2 1s are 2 2s are get cancelled. So kinetic energy is equal to 2 pi square f square r square m. From equation 6 and from this equation 5 r, B is equal to 2 pi mf. Substitute for BE in this equation and simplify. We get another expression for kinetic energy is equal to 2 pi square f square r square m. This is the expression for kinetic energy and this is another expression. What are the limitations of the cyclotron? Cyclotron are usually used to accelerate protons and positively charged ions. Electrons cannot be accelerated since even at low energy, electron moves with a velocity comparable to velocity of light. Its mass is no longer constant and it varies per the relativistic variation of the mass. M is equal to m naught into over root of 1 minus v square over c square over to the power of half. Hence, the resonance condition fails. If the frequency of the oscillator and the magnetic field strength is kept constant, the resonance condition fails. Therefore, electrons cannot be accelerated by the cyclotron because of this large variation of mass of the electron. However, one can accelerate electrons by varying the frequency of the oscillator or the magnetic field strength in accordance with the varying electron mass. Accordingly, there are two types of electrons. Here, electrons cannot be accelerated since even at low energy electron moves with a velocity comparable to velocity of light. If the electrons moves with a velocity comparable with velocity of light, its mass variation is large. Hence, the resonance condition fails if the frequency of the oscillator and the magnetic field strength is kept constant in the cyclotron. But, however, one can accelerate electrons by varying the frequency of the oscillator or the magnetic field strength in accordance with the varying electron mass. Accordingly, there are two types of these cyclotrons. So one is synchrotron and the second one is synchrocyclotron. So I will explain in the next slide. But they are in the syllabus. They are not in the syllabus. A cyclotron cannot be used to accelerate neutron particles like neutrons also because they won't contain the charged particles. They are neutral particles. It cannot accelerate positively charged particles with large mass due to relativistic effect. So it cannot accelerate electrons because of its smaller mass, as I explained. So there are two types of the cyclotron. One is synchrotron and the second one is synchrocyclotron. So in synchrotron, the magnetic field is made to vary and the frequency of the oscillator is fixed. We are here to satisfy the resonance condition. F is equal to B by 2 pi m. So here there are two parameters can be varied. One is the frequency is fixed by making the resonance condition with the frequency of the electron. Either frequency is varied or magnetic field is varied for the variation of the mass. In synchrotron, magnetic field is made vary At high energy, velocity of the electron increases, so also its mass. To satisfy this resonance condition, F is equal to B by 2 pm. At every stage of the acceleration, the magnetic field strength is also increased. Frequency of the oscillator is fixed. And the second one is synchrocyclotron. This is frequency modulated cyclotron. In this synchrocyclotron, frequency is varied, but the magnetic field strength is kept constant. Here the magnetic field strength is kept constant. Hence at higher energy, as mass of electrons increases, the right hand side of the resonance equation decreases. As mass increases, so the ratio decreases. Hence resonance condition fails. To maintain resonance condition at every stage, the frequency is decreased. Therefore, synchrocyclotron is also called frequency modulated cyclotron. Here the magnetic field strength is kept constant and the frequency is varied. Uses of cyclotron. In nuclear physics, high energy particles are used to bombard nuclei, causing nuclear reactions. To cause nuclear reactions or to produce nuclear reactions, cyclotrons are used. For several decades, these were the best sources of high energy beams for nuclear physics experiments. However, these are still in use for this type of research. Cyclotrons can be used in particle therapy to treat cancer. Using the ion beams from the cyclotrons can be used to penetrate the body and kill tumors by radiation damage. Cyclotrons produces radioisotopes that can be safely used for medical and biological research and also used to detect and diagnose diseases. These are the uses of the cyclotron, and this is about the principle, construction, theory, limitations and uses of the cyclotron. I have used all these books as reference to make this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again.